Gecko's Bar and Tapas, a proud supporter of Proview Networks. It's been a fan favorite spot for food lovers and sports fans. With not one, but two great locations, including outdoor patio, an atmosphere you won't want to miss. Gecko's off Academy and in Nob Hill.
Hoops New Mexico Basketball Courts is coming to Albuquerque soon. 10 full basketball courts and a whole lot more. For more information, contact Dan Serrano at hoopsnm@aybl.com.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Terry Cosper Insurance Agency is a proud partner with Proview Networks and a proud supporter of New Mexico high school athletics. Terry's been a local farmer's agent for over 20 years for auto, home, life, and business insurance. Just like high school sports are important, so are teen drivers. For more information, call Terry or one of his licensed staff members at 898-5556. Quotes are available for you.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Red Menace TV here on Proview Networks. I don't even know my own name. Leroy Lucero, along with Michael Carlisle, recently returned from Las Vegas, Nevada. How you doing?
Oh, well, I'm just glad you got my name right.
I got your name right. I couldn't get my own name right. I mean, what does that tell? And you're the one that spent a week?
Well, pretty close.
Pretty close, and I'm the one that stayed home.
That's what happens when you stay at home.
Yeah, I guess so. What happens at home stays at home?
Yeah,
I guess so. Hey, speaking of, I don't know, where was that fiasco of a press conference? Well, it wasn't really a fiasco. It was kind of a Vince McMahon on steroids with Floyd Mayweather and
McGregor. Yeah, that was the first one on Tuesday. That was in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. He didn't get LeVar Ball.
LeVar Ball, no.
To come in and maybe, you know.
I don't think he needed LeVar Ball.
No?
No.
Floyd maybe could have used.
No, Floyd was fine.
He's fine? He's quiet?
Fine.
Is he the greatest? We were laughing. They're talking about him being the greatest of all time.
A lot of people make that argument.
I don't even think it's an argument. I mean, I guess I grew up when there was like real fighters, so I don't really make that argument. I mean.
Like who? Name them.
Well, I used to enjoy watching Muhammad Ali, George Foreman when he was younger. You know, Frazier. Obviously, those were heavyweights.
Kelsey Grammer?
Yeah, that's a Kelsey Grammer. I used to love Hitman Hearns.
Oh, yeah.
Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, guys like that. Those were the kind of fights that I used to like to watch. Not guy that do. Look, I was at your crib for the Pacquiao, Merriweather.
A long time ago.
Yeah,
Mayweather,
and I like Merriweather better. And you know. I just like it better. Yeah. The little dance-a-thon that they
Do I
had.
think he's the best of all time?
Yeah.
No. You can make a compelling argument.
Micah thinks he is, though.
He's certainly the best fighter of his generation. I think we can all agree
Well, there's
on
no
that.
fighters left. They're all in MMA now, aren't they? Aren't the good ones in MMA now? That's a question. If I were interviewing, if we were on TV or radio, that would be the interviewing question.
No, I don't think that's the case, and not to infringe on Micah's gimmick here. But since you brought it up,
Yes, sir.
This is something I talked about on the show yesterday. What does it say about boxing if a guy who has never boxed before were to beat Floyd Mayweather?
Oh, that'd be awesome. I think it would be great.
It wouldn't be awesome for boxing.
Well, I mean, what is left awesome for boxing? I mean, let's be honest. What is left awesome for boxing at this point?
Well, I don't know, but my point is, if a guy who's never done it can go in and beat your best, doesn't that kind of say
So no,
your best, your sport maybe isn't all that?
Okay, so I mentioned a lot of these guys we talked about when I was younger. I remember days when we'd go, well, this was closed circuit TV then, and the Civic Auditorium was open where the heart hospital is, and you'd pay money, cash money, you'd go watch a big screen, right? And that was your closed circuit TV. Right now, as far as pay-per-views, I mean, will you take Merriweather out of there? What's the big
Mayweather? But yeah,
you take him out of that equation. What's the next pay-per-view draw?
Well, next month with Triple
Canelo?
G and Canelo Alvarez,
Triple G. He stole Triple H's gimmick. You stole Micah's gimmick. He stole Triple H's. All right. How big is that though?
Well, it's pretty. It was going to be pretty big until this one popped up the month before it.
Oh, you think so? Okay, so you think so people got to save their money.
But no, your point is valid.
Okay, I'm just curious.
But boxing is not what it once was.
No.
That's for sure. But my point, look, let's look at it like this. If LeBron James called out Tom Brady for a game of one-on-one, does Tom Brady have a chance in heck of beating LeBron James?
Probably
No.
not.
Exactly. So, what does it say if a guy who's never boxed before were to? Now, I don't think I don't think McGregor wins, but if he were, what does that say about boxing?
Oh, it says that they need a rematch, and it's going to be triple what they're making right now.
Put it like this.
Don't you remember the Rocky series? It's like, then we make more money.
Rocky did lose the first fight.
He did lose the first fight, but everyone
People forget that.
I don't think he lost technically, but emotionally, he had the emotional victory.
It wasn't Sophie's Choice; it was Rocky.
Well, you know how when teams lose and the coach was, we really needed this loss. It really helps us to really motivate.
I've never heard a coach say that.
Never heard a coach say that?
Never say that.
No, okay, maybe fans say that.
There are no such
That was a
thing
good
as
loss.
good losses.
That was a good loss.
No.
Hey, speaking of good losses or bad losses or a lot of losses, story's been breaking, obviously, with UNM basketball and
there's been so much with UNM athletics in general.
Yeah.
UNM basketball lost an assistant coach. I don't think they lost any players this past week.
No.
Course, I was out of town, so I may be off on that.
Well, but I mean, I'm talking the big loss. Well, if you never had it, did you lose it?
But you're entitled to it. You're talking about the sweet money.
The sweet lack of money.
Well, yeah. The story that came out this week, over $400,000 in uncollected money from.
What's the opposite of making it rain? Little sweets, I guess.
I guess not collecting money from the sweets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm shocked. I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty much stunned. I mean, I remember when the and we'll talk about this a little later, but I'm stunned because I remember when the talk of the suites being built and pulling out the mezzanine and how this suite pit refurbishing was going to be the greatest thing for Lobo basketball. It was going to take Lobo basketball into the 21st century. How all this and this and this, and it's just been a plop of. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I mean, nothing's gone right since they've done the suite.
Well,
seriously, nothing's gone right since they did the refurb.
We could have a whole separate conversation just on the refurb, what it was supposed to do, what we were told it was going to do, what it's actually done. Keep in mind, one of the reasons to do it was to keep the NCAA tournament coming here. That hasn't happened.
Draw all these concerts and events.
That hasn't happened because the ceiling can't support a
which everybody knew from the old pit.
Yeah.
It was supposed to build like fan excitement. I don't see that.
Well, part of the fan excitement aspect of it has to go hand in hand with winning on the court.
Well, that's true,
and
too.
it's certainly, at least in the
Well,
last
come on,
couple of
Steve
years.
Alford, St. Steve Alford of.
Right, the patron saint of global victories.
He had a season or two.
And the pit was exciting then,
Kinda.
even after the refurb. But yeah, the suites haven't sold the way they should. Apparently, the suites that have sold, they don't always remember to, collect the money on.
If it's sold and there's no money that changes hands, is it really called selling? You know what my biggest fear is, and maybe that's, what Jeff Grammer had an article today, and I don't think that they really said that, but I mean, obviously internet, Twitter and all. I think the biggest fear is that nothing was sold, but maybe there was possibly some bartering that went on.
Well, that's why if you read the letter the State Attorney General Hector Balderas sent to UNM, that's basically why he's asking for all the paperwork related to that, because he basically in the letter said, I think something's up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
And I'm not saying that's the case. Certainly we'll find that out. But this goes... whether it was the Scotland trip, the Cody Hopkins thing, and for as bad as they made Cody Hopkins look, he's still in charge. The DA's had that case for a year.
Right.
They haven't charged him. And that's, again, we could have a whole separate conversation on that, but it goes to the bigger issue of grossly mishandling funds over at UNM. And you know what? Maybe it's all accidents, maybe it's all oversights, maybe it's all screw. If it is, to me, that's almost worse than if it's intentional. The bottom line is something's got to change over there.
Yeah.
You had the press conference earlier this week where they announced they were bringing someone over from main campus to oversee the athletic department finances. I mean, if you can't collect the money on the suites you sell, how do you ever expect to finish in the black? The suite money is supposed to go to pay back for the refurbish of the pit. I mean, if you're not collecting money, how do you ever pay anything off?
Okay, I just have to... You have to laugh because it's just like, I mean, seriously, all we've heard for the past few years is UNM's in trouble. You've got the, what is it, cost where they pay the athletes, cost of living or cost of whatever, cost of playing, or I don't even know what the heck they call it. There's not as many people. We didn't want to fire.
Never mind that. How about the cost of collecting for the suites at the pit?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is we didn't want to fire Craig Neal at first because we couldn't afford the $1 million buyout. Well, maybe if you're collecting the $400,000 that's missing, maybe things could have been a little different there.
Maybe. Again, that money is earmarked for paying back the...
Right, but I mean, they're still going to keep a chunk of that.
Sure.
I mean, either way, there's still operating expenses throughout the year. I'm just saying to constantly hear and to constantly be hearing the crying poor stuff. Yeah, you're leaving the money. I mean, it used to be, what was you're leaving money on the table? It's not even on the table.
It's still in
someone else's bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just insane. Anyway, why don't we take a quick break?
Yep.
We'll come back with Micah, and then we'll discuss more about this. Also discuss about Coach Shu, who I tried to get in as a guest 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I guess Coach Shu was interviewing.
packing, yeah.
He was possibly interviewing at that time. So we'll be back right after this on Red Menace TV with the little Cage Minds.
Garden Sort's Team Sales is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Get into the game. Garden Schwartz Team Sales features fine products and apparel from Wilson, Schutt Sports, Speedline, and Russell Athletics. We offer custom embroidery and screen printing services for all of your school or club needs, from team uniforms to school leather jackets. Specializing in all sports and serving all communities, from big schools to small schools, from up north to down south, or all points in between. Garden Schwartz Team Sales. For great prices, friendly staff, and quality products, call Garden Schwartz Team Sales today at 1-800-880-7767. That's 1-800-880-7767. Since 1939, Garden Schwartz Team Sales is a proud supporter of New Mexico youth athletics.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't forget, every Proview Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewNetworks.com to buy your DVD today.
Sure, you could get him a new car. You could also light a pile of money on fire. So maintaining this old car is your best option. Keep it running longer, stronger, with quality parts and a whole lot of Napa know-how.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Altitude Sports Grill is where Albuquerque's sports fans won't miss a game. With locally crafted brews on tap and refreshingly crisp cocktails. Located in Hotel Cascada, Albuquerque residents find a staycation worth staying for. Catching Lobo sports, enjoying a beer on the beach, or wiping out, Hotel Cascada is home to your urban adventure. Affordable guest rooms, no-hassle water park parties, and much more.
Welcome to the place where we talk about people getting punched in the face, caged minds. I'm Micah Frankel, and the UFC had a huge week last week, International Fight Week. You saw Joe Silva, the matchmaker. You saw the face of the little guys, Uriah Faber, the man who made the WEC, including a few others also, getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. You had Justin Gaethje with the spectacular debut, brawling, total pressure, and a big second-round TKO win over Michael Johnson. We also had King of the Cage. We'll get to that in a moment, though. Hold on. But we also had UFC 213, and in a 5-round unanimous decision after a rough first 2 rounds, it was Robert Whittaker taking the last 3 and defeating Yoel Romero. He's the interim middleweight champion, the first Australian to hold a UFC title and set up a date with Michael Bisping, a long-awaited encounter. Now this week we also have a guest who was in action at King of the Cage, chosen few that I was live at this week. Let's welcome in Ricky Esquivel to now help us break down the event. First off, Ricky, thanks for joining us, and you were victorious this weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now let's hit those slides real quick, and we'll talk about King of the Cage, chosen few. I believe we'll start off with that first one. You got Eduardo Silva landing big on Aaron Montano. It was Silva's striking that led him to getting the early TKO stoppage win, a beautiful uppercut. As the night's starting and you're seeing these amateurs go out there, Ricky, and you're a pro, can you see the emotion, and is it getting really hyped up back there, these young guys?
Yeah, it was getting pretty hyped up. There were some guys who were, you know, when they're hitting pads, they're giving it their all and getting loud. And so then they're getting really hyped up, getting loud, hitting pads, and you can see the nerves in them. And the nerves come out in all the fighters, though.
Next fight that we had, Chase Eminer quickly took it to the ground, was able to get in the side wrestling position, lounge some ground and pound Ray Viza, and get the rear naked choke for a quick stoppage. We'll continue on. We're going to go through this a little bit quickly, everybody. You had Alex Jones there in the white. He ate some strikes early on in the first. Ronald Smith looked great, but it was Jones dragging the fight to the ground in the second and getting the rear naked choke, a really tenacious grappler. You had Francisco Dominguez there in the black and red wanting to take the fight to the ground with Chris Cortez. Cortez was on top when it would go to the ground, escaped several armbar attempts, and then landed big heavy strikes to take a victory for Cortez. Vicious striking, did not want any part of the ground game. Fight of the night, controversial decision, a brawl for 3 rounds between Sterling Peak there in the blue and Nico Nathan. For my thoughts, I thought the first round was won by Peak, that he nearly knocked down Nathan 2 times, even though Nathan did land some nice leg kicks and had a good strong finish to the first round. Second round was all Peak, nearly finished the fight, and in the third round, Nico Nathan came back, landed some very good strikes, including a spinning back fist, a controversial split decision win for Nico Nathan that the crowd thunderously did not approve of. Our final amateur bout featured Sam Martin and Terrell Wisdom. Terrell took the fight to the ground, was able to get an armbar in a pretty great performance. That moves us on to the pro card, where for about 4 minutes of fury, John Sparks and Derek Pettis just dropped bombs on each other, but eventually it was the nose of Pettis giving away from a John Sparks right hand. Pettis would retreat to the ground to his back, and Sparks would be able to get on top and finish off the first round TKO with ground and pound. Really exciting, crazy 4 minutes.
Wow.
In a technical striking effort, you saw Jamie Hinshaw get back in the win column. Good use of her jab and her leg kicks in defeating Kelly Villarino. I believe the next slide is about our guest next to us. Nope, actually I was one off. Sherwin Price takes Isaac Barnes to the ground and pounds him, and then gets the rear naked choke early after we saw Barnes come out and throw some crazy spinning techniques that kind of failed to land. We'll talk about it in a minute. One more slide. There it is. Ricky Escobar, guillotine choke in the first round, was able to defend the takedown, force his own takedown, and then catch his opponent in the choke while trying to stand up. 2-0 now, and we'll get to talking to Ricky here in a second. 11 seconds is all it took. A right hand to the jaw, this follow-up head kick, and some ground and pound. Timbo Slice, the king of the cage, 125-pound champion, wins his 135-pound feature fight in impressive fashion. And then to the main event we go, where Jess Martinez relied on his grappling, took down and had the back throughout the second round and parts of the third round, was unable to find the choke, but takes a 30-27 unanimous decision over Asias Gordo. Early on, it was Martinez showcasing his new evolving striking for the young fighter, and then relied on his grappling to finish it out. Crazy weekend of fights we had.
Yeah.
Ricky, you got the win. Walk us through it from your perspective.
So one of the biggest things was I was trying to stay as calm as I can. So, I mean, there's that feeling out process. I was trying not to do any stupid, trying not to do any dumb mistakes, and trying not to get overly excited because I didn't want to be the guy that gets knocked out in 11 seconds. So I was being patient, and then finally I went for a combination that I just learned. It was a punch combination that I learned earlier in that week when I was cutting weight, and it landed, but I ended up getting a body clinch, and I could tell that with my double underhooks, I could tell that Joey Trevino was going to try to throw me, and so before he threw me, I kind of blocked his hip, forced him down, I ended up on top, and landed a couple elbows, got the choke, but yeah, I mean, I think I was pretty in control of the whole fight.
Did you feel any ring rust? I know you're like, it's been a year, I've been trying to get fights. There was some nervous energy out of you going into this one. How did you feel that it worked out in that aspect?
Yeah, I mean, I get nervous before every fight. This one I got pretty nervous about, mainly because the dude had over 20 fights as an amateur, you know, and that's a lot of fights. Those are a lot of fights.
Did you have a game plan? Did the fight work out to that game plan?
You know, I really didn't have a game plan. I just wanted to try to do whatever I can to win. So I was going to start standing, like the fight always starts standing, and then if I wanted to, maybe throw him off with a takedown once he got comfortable standing with me, and then just kind of mix it up, going from striking to grappling. I didn't really want to get into a grappling match with him, though, because he threatens a lot off his back.
That environment, that night, how much were you able to hear what was going on around the cage?
I could hear a lot. The crowd got pretty loud, got pretty hyped up at one point because they started chanting my name.
Could you hear the giant crowd of people cheering Ricky, and it was led by John Jones?
Yeah, so apparently John had started chanting out my name. Everyone followed along, got really loud. I mean, of course I heard that, and
what did that do to you in there, hearing your name, hearing that cheer?
It made me nervous, but also more focused and more hungry to win, because all those people were there to support me. I had to make sure that I don't look like a fool.
Each camp is its own learning experience. Yeah. What did you take away from this one?
This one I learned how important grappling is. You know, that's what I focused on improving the most. So I started working with Russell White, Andrew Tennyson a little bit more. Russell White's a black belt at Gracie Baja. He helped me out tremendously for grappling. And then same thing with Andrew Tennyson. He always helps me out.
A guy that's a big part of your camp, been a big part of your training, last night got a victory on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah.
The debut of Dana White's Contender Series, the first night of it. We're still, I guess, trying to work out how this series is actually going to work, because from all the press releases I read, I was under the impression that you kind of win your fight on the Contender Series and you get a UFC contract. That doesn't look to be the case. Getting the decision win, a very strong second and third round, a very strong grappling performance from Joby Sanchez. Congratulations to him on the win. What did you think of that performance? And he gets clipped in the first round. He was cruising. He looked good, but he gets clipped. Your heart going in your throat for your friend?
Yeah, I mean, Joby, you know, he's one of my best friends, and it scared me because once I saw him drop, I thought it was bad news. Not only that, you know, his opponent took his back. But I mean, Joby. The thing about Joby is he's gotten very mentally strong in the last couple of fight camps. So something like getting dropped and someone taking your back isn't really going to affect him. He was able to recover, come back second, third round, control the whole fight, and win the fight.
So Dana White's Contender Series, that was a little bit different though, right?
Yeah.
Would you think it'd be weird to fight like in that atmosphere that it's just so quiet? Like, look to be 50 people in there. Probably hear a pin drop. You can really clearly hear the corners and your cheering section.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would put a lot of pressure on you. Not only that, knowing that you may or may not get a contract because you have to impress Dana White. You know, it's not about winning, it's just about winning in a certain fashion. And
you see that as a young prospect now. Wow, I just don't gotta win fights, but it's how you win. It really matters. It's what they're looking at. I mean, if you watched the show last night, we'll give it away that Kurt Holoba and Boston Salmon both have received UFC contracts, and Dana White was up cheering during Boston Salmon's performance. He was so inspired by it. You could tell that kid was going to get a contract. Right. When the president is up cheering because he's excited about your fight. So the UFC is really telling us we want guys that are going to go out on their shield.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because you, as a fighter, you want to win. You know, if you may not always get the knockout, you may not always get the submission, but especially in the UFC, if you lose, you're cut. So it's like you want to make sure you do everything you can not to lose. So
sometimes you play it safe.
Sometimes a lot. I mean, you watch Georges St-Pierre. He said it's not his job to finish fights. It's his job to win. And you know, when your career depends on it.
So what does that do for your psyche as though a young prospect? You look at that and you think, do you think maybe I need to take some risks, or you keep that in the back of your mind for when you get into those situations, possibly in the UFC threshold?
Yeah, I mean, you always go out to try to finish it. Andrew Tennyson he always reminds me before every fight. He says, go out there not to survive, go out there to kill, right? Go out there to finish the fight. Don't go out there to survive, because if you're surviving, you're probably gonna lose.
Now there are fights, then there are fights. And what's coming up in August is going to be not a fight. It's a spectacle of entertainment, and we have to touch on it because it was already touched on during the show. Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, tune in this week. They're on the press tour. They are talking trash. They are gabbing at each other. It's going to be interesting. None of us believe Conor really has a chance, though, right? Like this is like a 1 in a million chance. So I guess if you want to go 0.1% he has a chance, yes. But if the greatest boxers that we have right now in the division couldn't touch Floyd, Conor's not doing it. It's just not happening.
I just don't see how Conor has a chance at boxing Floyd Mayweather and beating him, because you look at Conor's record, you look at how many fights Conor has total as an amateur and a pro. Floyd Mayweather has almost 3 times the amount of fights that he has. Not only that, he's got a perfect record. He's never lost. And then boxing is, you know, the angles are a little bit different. Everything's, it's very different.
Conor McGregor already won. And everybody's like, the fight hasn't happened. No, he already won.
Oh, yeah.
There's over $100 million on a check that's going to have his name on it, and he is 26 years old. I don't care what kind of prospect you are, what kind of fighter you are. There's nobody in this sport, I'm talking about all of combat sports, in this world that is getting $100 million for one fight. It doesn't matter what happens August 26th. He already won. And the best entertainment is this hype tour this week, I believe, because this is what they're really both good at. They're good at the propaganda. They're good at getting this hype train rolling, because it was so good when Mayweather did it with Pacquiao and the fight fell so flat. And I'm almost sure that this fight, it may be bad in classical boxing sense, but you gotta believe that Conor's crazy enough. He's really trying to knock out Floyd. He's gonna be coming forward, and however long it lasts, it's gonna be exciting. But it doesn't matter, because Conor McGregor made himself so important that the greatest boxer of this generation didn't want nothing of a Keith Thurman, a Terrence Crawford, a Danny Garcia, a boxer. He found his way out of tax trouble by an MMA fighter, and it just makes MMA that much more relevant that we have a star that big. I think this is a win for MMA, a win for Conor McGregor, and probably a loss for boxing, because how do you look good that your greatest fighter is taking on a complete novice at the sport, really?
I mean, Conor McGregor is making his pro debut in boxing against one of the greatest of all time.
But a guy that has 30-something fights like Thurman that's undefeated is not worthy of this kind of thing. You can't lose if you're Conor McGregor at this moment. The way that the system has been played, this is brilliant. It's so entertaining from an outside of the fight perspective, I believe.
Yeah, and the thing about Conor McGregor is, as much as I think he's going to lose, you can never count him out, because everything he says he was going to do, he does. He said he's going to knock out Jose Aldo in 1 round. He did it in 1 round. He says he's going to knock out all these other fighters. He knocks them out. You know, he's going to be the 2-weight champ. He became the 2-weight champ. So it's like he does have a chance. So.
I'm not a gambling man. I'm not putting any money down on this fight. But as a fan, I'm cheering for Conor McGregor, because it just feels like the fun thing to do at this moment. Because again, I'm wrong for cheering. No, I know he's going to lose, but I'm still going to cheer for the guy.
I mean, he's got a nice suit, right?
Right? Check out the suit if you guys have it.
Pinstripes are nice.
Ricky Escobar, 2-0. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us to review this past weekend's events and talk a little McGregor Mayweather. There'll be more Red Menace TV in just a moment.
Hey Lobo fans, I'm Sarah. And I'm Samantha. Jaguar Land Rover Albuquerque has been a family-owned business since 1988. The 2017 Jaguar F-Pace has been named the winner of the 2017 World Car of the Year and World Car Design of the Year. Land Rover's signature terrain response system is flawless against any curveball New Mexico weather can throw at you. We have a class-leading extended warranty on all Jags and Land Rovers and one of the greatest pre-owned inventories in the state of New Mexico. Call 505-797-3600 to schedule a test drive.
The Barley Room, proud sponsor of Proview Networks for over 9 years, is pleased to introduce Black Iron Catering. From weddings and family reunions to birthdays and office parties, Black Iron Catering is perfect for any event. Contact Jamie at 505-459-8259 and book your event today. Black Iron Catering. Let us bring our kitchen to you.
Visit the Frontier Restaurant. Due to heavy construction on Central, take lead or coal coming north or south. The Frontier Restaurant. Get your Frontier fix on.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you. We're never having kids.
I love it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs. We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Michelle Rudolph or Marty Size in Albuquerque.
For 55 years, people have bought trucks from Tillery in Los Lunas. We have a great selection of vehicles, the quality service department, and some of the best deals in the state. But most importantly, we found people prefer to buy trucks from people who actually drive trucks.
Tillery is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Hoops New Mexico Basketball Courts is coming to Albuquerque soon. 10 full basketball courts and a whole lot more. For more information, contact Dan Serrano at hoopsnm@aybl.com.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Back. You getting all the information on your... Nothing wrong with that. I mean, okay.
Good job, Alden, letting us know we're coming back.
So, of course, Michael Carlisle does award-winning radio on 610 D Sports Animal Mondays through Fridays from 3 to 7. So when you're on radio, you don't have to worry about camera.
No, I'm like this the whole time, yeah.
You know, you're doing this, you got the text, you know, sure. You and Trujillo You don't even, you have like wife beaters on, or if you even have shirts on?
Oh, no, we're clothed.
You're clothed?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even know that whether or not you're wearing like a suit or your underwear underneath. They just know you wear a nice, snazzy shirt here.
I'm clothed.
Because this nifty. I'm just saying, radio's a lot different.
Sure.
You don't even have to shave. Oh, wait, you don't shave anyway.
No, not really.
No, not really. Hey, let's get back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, and that's, of course, the suites and what went on and the stories that are coming out. Now, I remember when we first started talking about Scotland, I said at that point, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I still don't think the actual Scotland trip was a big deal. Obviously, the not paying.
The trip itself was not. No, look, let's be really clear. The trip to Scotland was not a big deal. How certain people's trips were paid for, how some of the boosters were allowed to go without being charged, that's a big deal.
And I think I said at that time, I said, look, I'm not that concerned about it because that's kind of the way things are done sometimes in business or whatever, even though I know, it's whatever.
But see, that's
a misappropriation of funds.
That's not the way things are done.
I think things are done. I think that's the way things are done in the world of college athletics, to be honest with you. But, and I'm putting a big but in there, not a pork butt, a big but. When I saw the story
Just
about...
remember, you cannot lie.
Yeah. When I saw the story that they weren't collecting the money for the suites.
Again, right, and this goes back to the bigger issue. The reason the state auditor is auditing the department. The reason the state attorney general is investigating the athletic department. It goes to the bigger issue of the continued mismanagement of funds, the inappropriate use of funds. Look, I'm not saying anybody's done anything illegal. I'm not saying anybody's going to jail or going to trial or anything like that. But whether it's the way Krebs, Neal, and McCamey's Scotland trips were paid, whether it was the way some of the boosters were allowed to go and not charged, whether it was misuse of P cards, whether it's not collecting money of suites, dude. At every turn, there's mismanagement of money over there. Whether it's illegal or not doesn't matter. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, it is, and it looks like it's become just athletic department wide. I mean,
well, that's the point. Every time, the investigation goes a different way, they find more stuff.
Which is typical of most investigations.
Sure.
Which is typical. Now here's the $1 million question.
At least the
and I don't know
$+1,000.
Yeah, and I don't know if you and I can answer this question or not. I don't know if but I think we've talked about it. I've talked to a couple of other people about it. It is rampant, okay, and we're finding that out, and that is the way business is done. We know UNM is in the process of trying to hire a new athletic director. There's a lot of people, other than Paul Krebs or maybe Tim Cass, who left a couple of years ago, that work in different departments, with the money, and including the acting athletic director, Janice Ruggiero. Does everyone have to be cleaned out? Do they have to do a clean sweep and kind of wipe everything? I mean, in your mind, is that something that needs to happen? Do you think that's something that's going to happen? I mean, right now we have a lot of actors. We have acting presidents, acting athletic directors, acting vice athletic directors. I mean, everyone's got all these jobs as actors.
Right. I think we need to wait and see what happens with the state auditor's investigation, the state attorney general's investigation. But if you can't keep up with money any better than this, you probably should not be in a position where, you have to collect money, where you have to be responsible for money, where you have to reconcile money. Because the people who are over there now, and I'm not singling anybody out, I'm not picking on anybody.
I'm not either.
And maybe it's just a series of gross, paperwork failures, forgetting to do something. How can you forget to collect over $400,000 for anything?
Yeah.
For anything.
I mean, if someone owes me $5, I'm like, hey, bro,
exactly.
What's up?
Yes.
I was just, where's the shakedown? I mean, hey, how you doing? Trying to be nice here, but
well, no, it's
you owe us like 20 grand. You think maybe you want to, you might want to pay that a little bit, or can we set up payments, $5 a month or something?
Well, you know,
and this isn't just this 1 year either, right?
No, this goes back since the suite's opened.
And I'm not going to call down on people. I don't know how everyone handles their finances, but like if I do something and I don't get a bill, I start to wonder. It's been like 2 years.
Do you call up begging somebody to take your money?
No, but I'm gonna, but you know what? Eventually you're going to pay the piper, are you not?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, would you rather just go ahead and start making the payments now, or would you rather wait until 5 years when some dude with a baseball bat comes in to break your knuckles and
collect it all? I'm with you. There were a lot of people who knew, hey, I'm supposed to pay money for this. At some point in time, they're going to ask the money. But again, it's whoever is selling the suites. In this case, the university, more specifically, the Lobo Club, because the Lobo Club is in charge of selling suites. It's their job to collect the money.
Yeah, someone's got to collect.
If you go buy a car, the process doesn't end once you drive off the lot, right? The finance company calls you up. They send you a booklet, so every month you tear off one of the sheets with your check and mail it in or whatever, right? Right. The responsibility isn't just on you. Hey, we're not going to send you anything. We're not going to remind you, but don't forget to pay us.
Yeah. I don't know. I find that extremely shocking. And what I was saying is, I do think that's the way business was done at UNM. And
doesn't make it right.
I'm not saying it's right. That's why I'm saying maybe it's time to just get the scooper and just clean sweep and whitewash the thing and get a whole new group get a whole new group, because it is systemic, obviously. More rumors are coming, obviously, all the time. I'm not going to talk about them, but you hear more and more rumors all the time. And if this and like you said, the investigations are still going on, which means, and what did we just say? When there's investigations going on and it goes in one direction, guess what? Here's another offshoot. Here's another route. Here's another branch. Obviously, there could be more information or more situations where we see misappropriations of funds or different things. And if that's the case, then it's going to grow. And then maybe it is time to just move everybody out and just do that and come in with a new AD and start fresh. But then once again, if you get a new AD, you have 2 coaches in place in your major sport, 3 coaches in your 3 major sports here at UNM. You got to find a coach, or you got to find an AD that's going to be able to get along and like those coaches, which never happens. And then, because it seems like they always want their own guy. And then not only that, then you got to see about a president at that point. So when they go for a president, do we then now have to go through the search for AD and coach and all that mess once again? It's just a mess. And then if that's the case, then are we going to start talking golden parachutes again because you're going to let someone go, or they don't like this guy? I mean, look, Krebs fired McKay, I understand. Then Neil and all these situations, the new AD is going to come in. He's going to make some changes. It's just a mess. It's a mess, and I don't know where it ends, to be honest. But I do think that it's going to have to be a clean sweep.
Are you okay?
Nah, I'm fine.
You seem very. Do you need a hug?
Well, I had to quit coffee, so I'm kind of stressing out on it.
If you need a hug, I mean, I need a hug, dude.
I'm all right. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you, and we got to take a break because Rusty's coming up. I know that we're going to play.
Great. Yeah, I'm going to need a hug.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of this will go away once the season starts. I'm hoping. Once the games start, and if the Lobo football team starts winning, I think a lot of this stuff. Well, no. When the Lobo basketball season starts, if they start winning,
some people may ignore it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Look,
it ain't going away.
There was a lot of garbage and trash that happened here when St. Steve was here. All right, but everyone ignored it because there was a perception that the basketball team was great. So you're right. A lot of people, the word is ignore. It's not going to go away, but people will ignore. And look, winning fixes a lot of things.
Let me make this real clear. I love Lobo football. I'm a huge supporter of Lobo football. Everybody should go out.
Right.
I can tell you by looking at attendance, there is no perception that Lobo football is great.
No, you're right. You're right. That's why I said Lobo basketball.
So don't hang your hopes on that.
No.
Well, and if you're hanging your hopes on Lobo basketball being good this year, you're probably in for a big letdown.
No, they're going to be good. They're not going to be great, but they'll be better than they were last year.
I bet you they're not.
We'll be back right after this with Rusty the Sports Clown.
Hey,
Hey, wow, that was weird. Yeah, that's better. Okay, it's me, Rusty the Sports Clown. Guess what show I'm here for? You thought it was something different, but no, this is the Rusty the Sports Clown show. Cool stuff. All right, guess what time it is? I'm not wearing a watch, so we got to look at this one. Hey, check it out. It is time for a sports break. Hey, sports break. All right, let's see. We're going to start with NFL because, you know, NFL is just right around the corner. Very important things. Everybody's excited about the NFL. I am so pumped. All right, and the most important thing happening in the NFL right now that people want to know about is this. Is Dak Prescott cheating on his autograph? I know, this is serious stuff. Everybody has to know the answer to this. An authenticator says his signature has a very machine-like feel to it. Okay, this guy, he's been virtually flawless off the field. Does nothing wrong. You know, goes to hospitals, visits with sick kids. I mean, the dude is just totally awesome. And I really don't see what the big deal is. You know, politicians, okay, they've been using stamps and machines like this for their autographs for well over 100 years. Oh, wait, politicians are cheaters, aren't they? All right, Dak, you better watch out. We're keeping our eye on you, buddy. All right, NBA. This is important. NBA is that thing we don't care too much about. Bryce Alford, remember him? Former La Cueva standout. Went to UNM for a moment, and then went to UCLA to be the guy there. He's been told by Golden State coaches, you know, to just shoot a lot, launch it up, do whatever you can, because that's what you do. And he's all excited because he does that well. Unfortunately, in 6 minutes of playing time in their summer league game, Bryce was 0 for 1. That's like one shot, and he missed. Come on, Bryce, you can do better than that. Launch the rock. Show them what you can do. Moving on. PGA, that's golf. Okay, if you are your country's best golfer, shouldn't you at least make your country's tournament? Yeah, that's what I thought too. Rory McIlroy, he's missed the cut for the Irish Open 4 out of the last 5 years. Come on, Rory. Are you spending too much time in those Irish pubs? Get with the program here. Do it right. Moving on, tennis. How many of you know about tennis? Okay, that's that crazy sport that we talk about that the players do bizarre things. Here's another story that's pretty bizarre. All right, Australia's Bernard Tomic. Okay, after losing his first round match, he told the media that he was a little bit bored out there. Now, who does that? Okay, he also said he couldn't find any motivation to compete this season. Hey, you don't say that out loud either. He also acknowledged that he called a medical timeout, ow, I got an owie, against Misha Zverev to try to break his momentum. That's not good. He was fined $15,000 for unsportsmanlike conduct. And his sponsor, Head, a maker of, you know, tennis equipment and stuff, they dumped him. What an idiot. I know, dopey guy. All right, moving on. Running with animals. How many of you guys do that? I see people running with dogs and stuff. Well, this is better. How about running with bears? Okay, first in Colorado Springs to be exact. Okay, a bear was so impressed with the runners in a 10-mile race that he waited for a gap before crossing the trail the runners were racing on. He was impressed, very cool. Okay, next came a couple of bears in Alaska. Yeah, they weren't impressed at all with the jogger up there, so they ate him. Okay, now in Maine, we have 2 more bears. They wanted to find out how fast they were against world-class talent. Okay, a professional runner from Kenya, he was training on a nature trail when 2 black bears charged him, you know, basically challenging him to a race. Okay, so he out-sprinted them to a vacant house where he hid. Okay, he was safe inside a screened-in porch. Yeah, okay, the bears, they stopped, not realizing that they could have just crashed right through that screen. Yeah, guess what? Okay, they sniffed around a little bit, and then they wandered off, you know, obviously upset because, you know, they felt that he cheated because he didn't let them finish the race. They might have won. I don't know. All right, now we're going to move on to racing bulls. How many of you guys have done that? All right, in Pamplona, that's like in that other country, Spain or somewhere. Okay, this guy by the name of Bill Hillman, okay, he's a 35-year-old rider who has traveled to Spain the last 12 years to run with the bulls. He was gored for the 2nd time in 4 years. I think you're slowing down as you get older, buddy. That's not good. All right, the lead bull thrust its horn into into his buttocks. Yeah, that's like, you know, the back of your front and stuff. Okay, and flipped him onto the street. In his words, I flew up in the air and landed on my back. I didn't know I was gored at first. Then people started telling me I was gored. So I pulled down my pants and I saw blood. Yeah, okay, the bull had pulled down his pants before piercing him through his underwear. Yeah, I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but we just did. Okay, he says he's still gonna, you know, try and run again at this year's event. Okay, I have a little bit of, advice for you, and my advice is go faster. Huh? That's good advice, okay? Stay away from those sharp horn things. Hey, Red Menace homies. All right, if you want to see the rest of my show and find out some Lobo news that I think is pretty cool, all right, you got to come to the Rusty the Sports Clown show. We are on right before Steve Davis. Can't miss us. And if you can't make that, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. Hey, follow me to a Lobos game because, I'm very famous. I sometimes even sit with that Leroy guy. All right. If there's a game, a meet, a match, an event, whatever, if the people are racing cardboard boats in the water, just go. Bye, guys.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network. Don't forget, every Proview Network sporting event is on sale at our DVD store. Go to www.proviewNetworks.com to buy your DVD today.
Welcome back to Red Menace. This time I was caught with the phone out. I was pulling a Michael Carlisle at that point. So we'll call, hey, we only got a minute and a half left after being overwhelmed by Rusty.
It was overwhelming.
So what have we learned today? MMA is good. If you wear a shirt with pinstripes that have expletives on it, it's cool. Make a lot of money. And I wonder if Dana White doesn't collect from the pay-per-view buys. I wonder if he'll say, it's all right, guys, don't worry about it. You're not too.
I'm guessing Dana knows where every penny is and every penny that's entitled.
You don't think there's any sliding?
My guess would be no.
Your guess would be probably not. I mean, you're a big Washington.
No, as a matter of fact, it's funny you bring that up because after UFC got sold to WME, there was this big hubbubaloo because I guess some fighters were given complimentary UFC Fight Pass subscriptions. They would get complimentary tickets for the pay-per-views. And after the sale went down, all of a sudden the fighters stopped getting the complimentary UFC Fight Passes. That they stopped getting the complimentary tickets. They actually had to pay for the tickets, and some fighters were upset about that. So believe me, they know.
I mean, I've worked in business with a lot of money changing hands, and every dollar was accounted for. And
the biggest thing we've learned is a lot of us missed out on suites that we wouldn't have had to have.
And that's what ticks me off. Proview could have had a suite. 610 could have. I was asked at one time, how come Red Menace doesn't start like a basketball thing in the pit like they do at football? And I said, because the seats are so expensive, not everyone can commit to sitting in the same area. If I would have known this years ago, we could have gotten our very own Red Menace suite. It would have been a party place. There'd been music blaring out of there, people screaming. Hopefully nobody would be falling out.
You'd have been standing up there making it rain because you know what? I don't have to give this money to UNM. I don't have to pay the UNM. So flipping dollar bills, though. Let's be honest. I ain't got that kind of jack. But still, we could have flipping nickels. But
flipping pennies. Ting, ting, ting. Hey. But I mean, honestly, we could have had our own suite, our own Red Menace suite. Man. Lost opportunity. Hey, for Michael Carlisle, I'm Leroy Lucero. We'll see you you guys will be here next week. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Until then, God bless you all.